give her. Let's give her till we can't give her no more. Sponsored by Bublé.
Oh, sponsored by Bublé. This is manifesting. This is how we get our first sponsorship. Still no one listens,
Mmm.
but Bublé.
Cherry Oh, I guess it's bubbly. We just call it Bublé because of the stupid commercials with
The
the
Michael
famous
Bublé
Canadian
ads.
singer. Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe
sorry,
he needs some
bubbly.
apps. Maybe we can vibe code with Bublé. We should just invite celebrities on or make apps for celebrities and invite them to come see and surprise record them and their reactions.
Yeah. Okay, I like
Ask
that.
forgiveness, not permission.
Are you gonna make it happen today? Or will you just settle for another delay? Come on, you gotta make it happen now. Come on.
Okay, so we're here. The docket. What is on the docket today?
Well, considering we lost half our fucking time to technical difficulties again, um,
I do have things to show. I do have some
okay,
show and tell, so we can start there.
yes,
Uh,
please.
all right, here is show and tell story time for you. So, I wanted to make a video game. I have zero video game experience. I barely even play video games myself, but I'm like, I have an idea that will make millions. And here's what it is. In fact, here's what it came from. So, I've mentioned on previous episodes that I have a TikTok channel that I've been building my writer following around. And part of what I've posted, in fact, the most popular things I've posted on this channel are these grammar quizzes. So there's this folder of them here. And basically all it is on TikTok, I say little grammar quiz and get people to, see if they know the answer. These things blow up. So, 70,000 views, 100,000 views, 20, 140, 746,000 views. Like, people freaking love quizzes. This is like quizzes and tools are some of the best like lead gen things. So I actually haven't posted one of these in a while, but I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? Instead of just posting stupid TikToks about quizzes, what if I also had like a quiz video game that would be like an upsell to this, kind of like a New York Times style video game that people love playing those New York Times games. So
Hmm.
what's my version of this? And that then led to this like grammar game project that I was like trying to figure out. So I actually tried doing this a few months ago. I gave the challenge to both Lovable and Replit. I was like, make me a video game that is the following. I want it to be called Grammar Ghosts, and I want every day for there to be a little ghost that has unfinished grammar business. So to lay the ghost to rest, you have to solve his grammar quizzes, and then he goes down into his grave. That is these are like the ghosts of grammar teachers and editors and like people who care about grammar. So I initially gave that to Replit as a prompt, and it gave me grammar haunts, which is so shitty it's unusable. I'm like I can't. There's a begin button, and then you can't read what's going on. It does have the quiz functionality, but it's so bad. I quit immediately. This was terrible, and I went over to Replit.
Hold
And
on, and
Replit,
you gave it the exact same prompt.
exact same prompt, and Replit got it pretty good. Like, looks much better. The design, the pixel art, I wanted that, so it matched that. And there were a few more prompts to like get it to what you see on the screen, but like not many. I've never paid for Replit on this project, so this is all through like the free credits or whatever. And you can begin and okay, yeah, it's actually usable. You can, my screen is kind of cutting it off here, but you can kind of work through it. It's got a calendar of dates and the puzzles and when you like put the ghosts to rest and when you didn't and all that kind of stuff. So okay, that like it worked better in Replit, but I never like actually launched this. I sort of moved on to other projects until last week. So last week I went back to Lovable and I'm like, All right, shitty Lovable. I really don't want to have to pay for Lovable and Replit right now for this project. So can Lovable do it now? And lo and behold, I gave it the prompt, and Lovable has smartened up. Lovable actually created the full game. I would say
Same
better
prompt.
than Replit at this point.
The exact same prompt,
Exact same prompt. So
just a couple weeks later.
I would say this is 2 months later.
Okay.
The difference. So before, 2 months ago, what the hell is this? To this today in 2 months. And Lovable's like come out with different agent mode and of course better models and all of that's changed. But like 2 months is the difference here, which is pretty wild. So right now you can begin. You can choose the correct form of to be.
B.
B.
There are many books.
Correct. So okay, you can go through this. It gives you
Go to bed, ghost.
little things, and you kill the ghost. And there are 4 questions each day. So you get that right, you complete the quiz. The little gravestone pops up, and you can read this like AI
Something about
generated.
Edgar Splitworth. Oh gosh.
So it creates like funny little obituaries for them and epitaphs, and then you can rest in peace. Go to the archive. Oh, I have to log in apparently,
logged in.
but it's got like the auth and whatever, and see your how many you've put in coffins and track that and whatnot. So
Get your coffin streak on.
get your coffin streak on. So that was my very brief dabbling in video games, if you even call this.
Hold
a
on,
game.
it's
a game.
start to finish. How long?
This was probably a day, and the only thing that's really missing from here, 2 things before I push this out live. I would love to actually have this live by our call next week, and see if I can get some users on it, just to put a little time pressure on me. But I would love to have Stripe and like a premium upgrade people can pay for. So maybe you get like 1 a day, and then if you want to do more, you can pay for more. And then I have not fully wired in like ChatGPT yet to like create the new ghosts automatically every day and write the obituaries and like track all of that. So those 2 things would be like my MVP. And then
Gotcha.
I am confident, like I am outrageously confident if I start posting this on TikTok that it'll be my fastest growing thing ever.
Yeah, like if it's free, like yeah, it's got all the hallmarks of Wordle or anything like that, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And even if say the average one of my TikTok posts got, I don't know, 60,000 views on these grammar quizzes, even if like 1% of 60,000 goes to the site, and then 2 or 3% of that upgrades to paid, like it's just a machine like this. It's the easiest content for TikTok that can blow up. So this is like one example of something I tell people all the time, which is if you're on TikTok, if you're an influencer, have an audience, like don't just think about advertising, like think about products or now apps you can sell that are that don't make you beholden to some advertiser somewhere and do shitty ads or whatever. So anyhow.
And so then can you kind of like, because since our last one, I've been messing around with an app in Replit. Can you, but I never got far enough that I even considered it an MVP or hosting it. So like with both of them, is there kind of like one button where it's like you can now host it on a site, like get your DNS settings set up and everything else like that, or kind of like the Squarespace where they'll hold it as grammarghost.squarespace.com, and then if you pay the premium, then you can like kind of move over to your own hosting and stuff, or like how does that work with apps like this?
Yeah, so Replit kind of positions itself more as the full stack, like everything is built into it, including like database and lately versioning and getting your sites and stuff like that. Like that is, I think right now, slightly ahead in terms of everything being in one place. Lovable can do it all. It's just a few more steps because you have to go, like you have to use Superbase instead of it being a database that's like built in. And for the domains and the hosting and everything, like I just have like I've got my own hosting and domain registrar that I've used forever, so I just like buy domains through that and then hook them up in here. So I don't have it on a custom domain yet, but you would just add a custom domain here. With Lovable, they've got like Netlify and another integration that like makes it pretty easy. It's just like a one-click, get everything hooked up with the custom domain. But it's yeah, generally not a problem.
Have you ever tried to turn any of them into is Rhythm like an app, like a standalone downloadable, go on like an APK that you can actually download on the Google Play Store or something like that?
It's not. I
No.
want that, and my audience wants that because they don't want to, especially writers, don't want to write in like a browser and be distracted by all their tabs and whatever. So I have had some people ask me about a dedicated app. Lovable does not. I know it's on their roadmap because I've seen other people ask for it, and they've said down the road, but it's not like an out of the box thing yet. And you could do it. I've not like gone down that rabbit hole yet. It would have some speed bumps, I imagine, but like you could do it. Nothing's really stopping you from porting it over. This thing though, so the thing I love about Grammar Ghosts or whatever is that people care less if it's a web app. So what? Like go and just do your fun little game in a browser and then go on with your life. And the other thing I really liked about this is that unlike Rhythm, there's no sensitive information that I'm storing or having to deal with user privacy or whatever here. Like, if this gets hacked, who the fuck cares? Like, how many ghosts you got, if you got, your grammar quiz right that day or not. Like, the amount of stress and pressure on other apps where you have to securely store user data and think about all that is just way higher. This has been a dream because I don't have to care about as much of that. So yeah, that's been my thing with this. But I do want to see how far I can get in a week with it. I've got a lot of projects on the go right now, so we'll see if any time permits. But I just want to stay up late and grind this one out because I am just so confident if I started posting more grammar quizzes and then this was a call to action that this could like, maybe this becomes my life. Maybe I'm Grammar Ghosts guy now. I don't know.
You'll have to change it, change your bio on TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other one is, the other show and tell is completely opposite, but more in your little neck of the woods, which is CRM stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone listening who doesn't know, quickly explain what's your background with CRMs. Where do you come from with that?
Where do I come from? Well, I used to do digital marketing, and then I worked at a nationwide high-rise property maintenance. So, the guys on ropes cleaning the windows on a skyrise and the pressure washing and all that, blah, blah, blah. So all the leads were coming in via marketing, and then we was constantly getting the question, where'd the leads go? Or what's wrong with the leads? What do you mean what's wrong with the leads? Here's what's been sent in, what has happened post that. Who were they distributed to? What was the closing rate on that? No idea. So that eventually turned me into becoming, the VP of business development because I was the only one who could actually track end-to-end conversion metrics, etc. So, and then at that point, we were using some custom-made, like $1 million boondoggle CRM, and then so I just went out and sourced Salesforce. Knew nothing about Salesforce. We were the first actual field service Lightning implementation in Canada, and I taught myself Salesforce and field service and did the implementation in 6 months. And so that was a wild ride. And ever since I've been basically a consultant, and now currently I'm working as a business analyst. And then so that's a CRM guru. Sure, we'll go with that.
Data dominatrix.
Specifically Salesforce. Yeah, data dominatrix. Wow.
Because we've talked about this before, where I was in so many businesses where the CRM was a mess, like most people's, and I kept saying, I just need a data dominatrix to come in, whip this data into shape, whip everybody into shape, take no prisoners, take no shit, and just tell them how it is, get everyone using it the right way, set up the right way, and then everyone's happy. And I mean, I don't know a lot about CRM. I know a little about CRMs, but you really know about CRM. So I'm curious this next segment here, how it's going to go, because I mean, there's like a barbell right now with Salesforce itself or other big CRMs. Like, are you long Salesforce or are you short Salesforce? Like, with the rise of all these, abilities to vibe code and make your own apps or whatever, like, is everyone just going to have their own CRM and make it so custom to them and have it developed and maintained internally? Or does Salesforce become more important and they have their agent force and they're going to embrace AI and it'll be around forever? Like, where are you on bullish or bearish on Salesforce?
Salesforce stock is in my children's RESP. So,
So bullish.
yeah, long term, still bullish for Salesforce.
I have the same problems with Salesforce and all CRMs that everybody generally has, which is like it's bloated. You can't really make it do what you want it to, or see what you want to see a lot of the time. Everyone's looking at different things. Everyone says it's the source of truth. It's not. So anyways, long story short, I took a stab at building my own CRM, specifically for a client and some projects that I'm working on right now. Because they, of course, have Salesforce, but to get into their system and learn it all and set it up to like track our specific deals was just time I did not need to spend. It was much faster for me to go into Lovable and just quickly code up like my little kind of tumor of a project that's going to live over here and eventually maybe make its way into Salesforce, but like not for the foreseeable future. So I'll probably have to blur out lots of this data. I will not. I will share my screen, but it might just look like the JFK files or something. If you're watching this on YouTube. So what I've got is a pipeline tracker for an agency project. Is basically what it is. So I create videos for software companies. And specifically, I have one client that I'm doing a lot of videos for, many different software companies like underneath them. So I needed a way to track all of my deals that we were pitching to these various vendors of software companies. And again, all I wanted was drag and drop, Kanban, show me what is in pipeline, what's closed won, what's signed, what's lost, and break it out by like our key projects. So this is so stupid it hurts for anyone who's used to a real CRM, but it was all I needed. I needed to see that we've got like basically 3 video series that we're doing up here. I want to know how far we are from the goal, how many deals and how many, basically videos we have to produce per category that we're in. So, I mean, that's all this is. And yeah, I can, create a new opportunity and go through logging which project it's part of, name it, assign a salesperson, enter the amounts, log a probability and some notes in there and save it. And I mean, I live in here right now. I have this open constantly. It took, again, like a day, call it maybe, 20 credits to get it to this point. So almost nothing. It took almost zero effort to have something that me and 2 other sales guys can look at every day and not bother anyone else with, but it's hyper laser focused on our projects that we're selling right now. So I'll pause. Does this look like something you would see more people doing, or does this just purely give you hives because you're like, oh shit, like this lives outside Salesforce. This is data that's not feeding into my master system. Like, what's your take on just custom CRMs, building bespoke like per project things, or shutting this kind of thing down and just, data dominatrix saying everyone has to be in Salesforce?
Well, yeah. So for someone your size, this is all you need. even if you have a couple other key stakeholders, another sales guy, or you have a few external people who are responsible for, some deliverables, etc. Something like this is perfect. Now, what this really is if you look up, there's a free to use tool that's amazing, Trello, and it looks like this. You can use it as a Gantt chart. You can create checklists. You can check it off. You can assign it to people. It's kind of exactly the same as this. For I would say for the one man shows, this is all you need. You don't need to go buy Salesforce, 100%, and that's really not what they're for. Salesforce is going hard for SMBs and large companies, right? The landscaper who has 10 clients that he's managing himself, or the residential cleaner or something, right? Like stuff like this, I say absolutely go spend a day in Lovable, or go use a free tool that already exists like Trello. Set yourself up some checklists, some deliverables, some tasks, assign certain things to different people, and like that's 100% what it's for. I think this is great. Yeah.
Well,
100%.
I think what I love most about it is, if I just want to add something or change something or whatever, it's just one little AI prompt, to wrestle another system that I don't know as well into this would probably be more effort than just telling Lovable to make this or change this or whatever I want to do with it. So I've sort of rewired my brain. Anytime I need something now, anytime I want a question answered, I don't go to Google. I go to ChatGPT. That's my new tab when I open a new tab in my browser. Anytime I want to do something with a tool, I don't go look for a tool. I go to Lovable and think about how I can build the tool. So I'm slowly rewiring myself around AI first workflows and systems. And this was just a very clear example of, I probably could have gone and wrestled something into what I need it to be, but man, it feels good to have something that is again laser focused on a project that's right in front of me, and I can change it at will. I feel like God in here. I can really snap my fingers and anything could happen.
So for me, a big part of my focus and what I eventually want to build into a company in and of itself is an adaptation of this exact thing. Hyper niche, hyper specific requirements for a certain thing. And it might be its own project. It might be under an umbrella of a larger company or a larger task or larger projects where you just need it to do this one thing, and your current convoluted setup as Salesforce doesn't quite work. Like I said, I have stock in Salesforce because I think I know where it's going in the long term, and it's up. But that doesn't mean there isn't. Salesforce itself has its own app exchange where you build apps that plug into it. And it's very much the same thing for something like this. This is just not like this because this is just low-level CRM. But if you had a very specific need where you needed a certain thing to do X, and then all you need in the background is perhaps a data warehouse, and then to get either via an API or webhook or something like that to send information from one place back to the other. And typically someplace like Salesforce or like Zoho or like HubSpot should be, on larger companies, should be their main. That's where everyone goes to play. That's where all the data should be collected, etc. But why not? If someone needs something and needs something fast, if you want to be truly an agile company, go use AI or go find a viable partner to build something like this for you, a very niche app that then plugs in via data warehouse or something else back into Salesforce so that you can just roll stuff out 10 times faster. Another idea is you own a house cleaning company. You have your own CRM of your customers, and that's all you care about. You don't even need any more leads. You just have what you have. You've got your 5 employees out in the field. You've got your 5 Toyota Yaris's out there labeled with, Devon's dusters, wherever they're called, the maid service cars out there. You want to give all 7 of your maids a daily task list, and and they need to check in, and they need to confirm that certain things have done, and they need to take a picture of that. So why not just give?
I just understood that you called the business Devon's dusters.
Devon's
I thought you were calling the cars Devon's dusters.
No, sorry. They're not old. They're not old.
Devon's dust bunnies.
Dodge.
Maybe the dust bunnies go around. something like that.
Dust bunnies. Devon's dust bunnies. Yeah, like you could quickly build something that is, each location has a different customer requirements, has a different lockbox with a key combination,
Hmm.
blah blah blah, and just like you can just build an app that you push out to each of your service reps each day of where they need to go and what they need to clean. And once it's all been confirmed, there you've got sign off, you've got a check in with a GPS that
Yeah.
that's where they are. You've got triple confirmation that they followed through all their steps. You've removed all the liability from yourself, blah, blah, blah. And then once it's done, then you send that information then back to your main CRM that you've already built out where it communicates then with the customer that the job has been
Hmm.
done and blah, blah, blah. Because you don't want to build in that other messy system and you just do an
Uh,
API push at the end of the day because, maybe the customer doesn't need to know. Maybe it's an overnight crew. They don't need to know at 4
mhm.
a.m. that they've emptied the garbages, at 4:20 they've cleaned the windows, blah, blah, blah. It's just a daily summary at the end because it gets pushed back to your main CRM. And then from there, you already have the custom built notifications. There's like ServiceNow. That's another CRM that's
Yeah.
already does all that stuff. But,
Well, I'm kind of coming around to the there's room for both sort of thing. Like, you know, the very small businesses, the mom and pops, the 1 to 2s, even up to maybe 20, 50 employees or something, like can probably get by with this, just like they've gotten by with Excel or whatever duct tape they've used in the past or whatever. This is just a better duct tape. And then once they reach some critical escape velocity, they need the big boys. So yeah, maybe I'm bullish on Salesforce too. Like I don't, it would take a lot to tumble that giant sort of thing. And my only question mark was, you know, is it cool for people in companies to be doing this sort of thing when it's kind of going rogue? When it's sort of like, I did this because I had a little team that was just like a special ops sort of thing, and I didn't have the time or energy or know how to go wrestle Salesforce into my, you know, into what I wanted to see. So I just whipped this up, and this data does not live. If I died and this, you know, if I got hit by a bus and this disappeared tomorrow, they would have none of this information in their CRM. So I can see.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, like if you have a team like at my work, there's a few of us who we call the Skunk Works team, which is like
Yeah.
a harken back to the Ford small crew who created the GT40. Like it was a Skunk Works, which is basically they're
Hmm.
building it on the side, on the sly, and blah 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 because they just thought it was cool.
Hmm.
Um, if you're the CEO or the COO or the CTO, blah blah blah, your goal is to identify those guys who want to be part of the Skunk Works, make them the key stakeholders of their own little project, but then go actually employ some maybe build an MVP roguely and
Hmm.
Ripple or this, right? But then go actually engage a professional for, like we said, well, like we always harken back to security reasons, like my God, right?
Hmm.
And also, data cleanliness. You want to make sure that, like, when you're concatenating that information from one system to another,
Yeah.
like, you got to make sure it's correct and deduplicated and blah, 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 and secure. And, like, yeah, it's like, in elementary school, it's like, the bad kids aren't bad kids. They're the bored kids. Just go give them responsibility.
Hmm.
Like your Skunk Works team, the guy who's like a slacker who just like wants to automate his job, make him a key stakeholder. Go tell
Hmm.
him to build an MVP and then go engage a proper company to build it. But
Yeah.
you can do an external resource like that and you can get it done in half the time. Get it done in a couple months versus 2 years of
Well,
those
the proper
big
company thing
lumbering
is,
systems.
I remember what you said last week around like there's always going to be, you know, the people who take their cars into the mechanics. There's always going to be the mechanic. Now, some people are more like, you know, work on their own cars and can take it so far. Some can take it a little farther. It depends how like risky they want to get. But, you know, there's going to be room for all of it. So just how, yeah, which one of those describe you? Which one will most people be? Will they, you know, tinker and build little scrappy stuff like this, or will they, you know, want to
Well,
go
and
far?
and and the actual stakes are even lower than that because if you have your own car and you're tinkering on it and you fuck it up,
Hmm.
you're in for a big repair bill. You got to take it. You end up taking it to a mechanic anyways, who then hands you an even larger bill than whatever you were trying to fixed to begin with. Whereas here, it's like if you fuck it up too much, you just go reset, unplug, plug it back in again, start again, go back to Lovable, try the same prompt again 2 months later, see if it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're not selling off the Salesforce stock in the RESPs today. But we do have one more. We have one more story that was on the docket. Here we go. Business Insider.
I've read this news story like 3 times. I still don't understand how she's making money, but I love it.
Tee this up. What did you find? What is this Business Insider article about?
I found this. Okay, so obviously, I don't even think it was Reddit. I think it was like just on my Google Pixel phone. When you open a browser, it goes to like this explore page where it, it sends you information based off of metadata and then, peeking on my life. Anyways, sent me this headline, got me. I earned $20,000 a month by vibe coding. Great. That's all we're after, all of us, anyways, right? That
Rebecca Beach.
Rebecca Beach.
Yep, Rebecca Beach.
And just the classic story. Started vibe coding, she was making some money, decided to, go all in, do it all herself. And, at one point she was already making like $10,000 a month. Now she's making $20,000 a month vibe coding what it sounds to be like basically PDF readers or like instructionables from PDFs that are also printable. And I was like, I don't understand what this woman is doing, but I love it.
So she calls them
making
printable workbooks.
Yeah.
I can't get into this bloody Business Insider article. Well, it wouldn't be this show without more problems. Okay, here we go. So she calls them what? Printable workbooks and journals. And she's not a novice. Like it says in here, she's an actual developer. Like she's been a software developer for a while, and now she's just using vibe code tools to, I suppose, do things faster and not have designers and all that kind of stuff. I thought what was really funny, I mean, that's a hell of a good headline, catch people's attention. I earn up to $20,000 a month by vibe coding products. But then you get anybody reading this thinking, oh, it's that easy? I can just go and vibe code something and make $20,000 a month. What's not in the headline, what's tucked away in here, like halfway through, is that she says, I have an email list with over 170,000 people. Like, she has a big audience, supposedly from either doing this or from other, here it is. I have an email list with over 170,000 people, so I'll regularly send surveys to gauge their purchasing preferences, which is super smart. Like, if you have that big of an audience, just ask them what they want, build that, sell it back to them, make it easy, and bada boom, bada bing. But I feel like this is, this is one of those memes of like, step 1, sign up for a Lovable account. Step 2, get 170,000 people, and step 3, sell them thing. Yeah. It's like, oh, draw the owl, circles, then draw the rest of the fucking owl. it's one of those.
Exactly. Yeah. But like, look, two paragraphs down, I still don't understand. Boho design, boho clip art, stickers. I still don't understand what you're doing, but good for you.
I mean, it all comes back to there's such a surge in vibe coding. Stories like this, there's going to be more and more PR of people like seeking their fortunes, making a ton, getting other people riled up and thinking they can do this, which building the soft part is actually now not the hard part. It's like, yeah, you can go and build workbooks and whatever she's doing that we don't understand, but the hard part is distribution, is attention, is having an audience, building an audience, all of that, which hats off to her. She's clearly, I don't have an audience of 170,000 newsletter subscribers, so like she's teaching me a thing about how to do that. But
but I mean, worst case scenario. Okay, you get hit by the headline. I want to make $20,000 a month. I want to make 240, almost $250,000 a year from vibe coding. That sounds great. Mm-hmm. Most people are never going to get anywhere close to that. But go get a Lovable or Ripple account for free and start dicking around, because what's the worst that comes out at the other end? You learned a new skill. You added another tool to the toolbox that you.
I'm going to go to ripple.com. This could be scary live. Let's see what Oh, okay. Yeah, no. That
Wait,
was
is
safe.
that the
I thought
one?
it'd be something
No,
fun.
that's sorry, that's
I
a
know.
meme
Replit.
coin.
But
Replit.
yeah, no, I agree. And I think for me, I've started documenting
Replit.
this stuff. So I now have, you can now go, shiprats.com is a live and well website. And I had put in one of my articles of my like how to get from 0 to 10,000 users, a section on building the audience first. And this is one that I'm going to do a bigger post on, but I would just highlight right now for anyone listening and seeing Rebecca Beach and being like, I want to be big like Rebecca Beach. Then this is what I would do. I would say step number one, post 100 times on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. They're still the only platforms where if you have no audience, you can still go big and hit something. It will take like a lot of tries, a lot of at bats, but if you post 100 times, 2 or 3 are going to hit, and you're going to have some sort of audience start off of that. I would then marry content with products. So as I've just shown earlier in this call, I saw that grammar quizzes are like super popular on TikTok. Great, turn that into a video game or product that you can sell to people. And then step 3, build with your audience, not for your audience. I would do this in public. I would like share as I'm building it, get the people like engaged and following along and invested. And then all of a sudden it's a snowball that's rolling down the hill and gaining steam. And that's exactly what happened with Rhythm. That is my 3-step formula. If you are starting from literally scratch, if you are not Rebecca Beach and you need to start from somewhere, I would do those 3 steps.
And you know what? So back when I was mentioning that I worked for the commercial property maintenance company, at some point we acquired some salespeople from a residential property maintenance company, and they grew almost their entire. And I saw it actually in that Rebecca Beach article. She said the same thing. If you're not sure, go join Facebook groups. And that's what these guys did. Is they joined all the mom and parent Facebook groups of all the neighborhoods around them, and then just started soliciting them like, hey, is this a service that you guys are interested in, and blah blah blah. And that's how they grew their entire university summer like little company that they eventually basically sold their list to us and then just came work for our residential department. But like, yeah, just exactly go build the community, go find the community, go engage in it, and then naturally they'll tell you what you want, what services they're interested in. And like, yeah, I think
That's going to be the hard part anyway. Like sooner or later, you're going to have to get distribution. You're going to have to start building this audience and sell something to people. So why don't you try and do that first, then get the product info and requirements and everything like up front before you go too far down a rabbit hole and build the wrong thing. And then you have the people to sell it to. So, I mean, Hermosi's huge on this too. He's like pre-sell stuff. Get the capital. You don't need to go raise a bunch of money if you already have the invested audience. So 2 birds, 1 stone kind of thing. But anyhow, that was the docket. I know I've already taken way too much time, but
no, yeah. Start a podcast that no one listens to. Call the products by the wrong name. Call it Ripple instead of Replit. Who cares?
Do shit. You can just do shit. Build shit.
Fail. Yeah. Fail and fail often. And why not fail in public? Fuck it.
Some actually like hopefully helpful tips for people. Once again, good seeing you, buddy. Bubblies. Bye bye.
Are you gonna make it happen today? Or will you just settle for another delay? Come on, you gotta make it happen now. Come on.